welcome back to my channel. This is Kim with K Montes Art Studio, and I have a chill video this week. I am just wanting to relax and carve my print block this week, and I figured this would be a perfect video to answer some questions. So I found these questions on Indeed Career Advice, and I thought they'd be amazing to answer, especially for those aspiring artists that are seeking to get started and have no idea what to do or where to get started at. All right, so let's jump into the questions. So question 1, where are you from and how does this affect your work? I think this is a great question because your environment definitely does affect your work. And I'm a strong believer in space, creating your work flow, and just my whole thing is space and time. And if you don't have that, you know, it really does impact your work. So I'm from Philadelphia, and art is all around the city where I'm from. And it really does impact my creativity and how motivated I feel to get things done. I've had art around me all my life, and I'm so thankful for that. So question 2, who are your biggest artistic influences? By far, my biggest influence is Frida Kahlo and my oldest brother, who passed away when I was 7 and he was 16. And he was, in my eyes, an art guru. I loved everything he did. He was amazing at all of his works. He was accepted to an art university in 10th grade. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to attend due to him passing, but he was a great inspiration and part of the reason that I kept on going with art to be able to keep his dream alive. So question number 3, tell me about your favorite medium. So when I saw this question, I immediately thought acrylic, but now that I have dove back into almost every medium I can think of, with a few exceptions, I love all of them, honestly. I love watercolor, acrylics, gouache. I mean, anything that allows me to make something. I've even tried to create art with like spices. I did that for my senior portfolio in undergrad, and that was interesting. Testing out things with wine at one point, tea bags. I mean, anything really can be a good medium. Question number 4, where do you find your inspiration? Everywhere. I can be looking at, trees, of course, nature, books. I have hundreds of books that I capture my inspiration from. My students inspire me so much, and I'm so thankful for the ability to be able to teach. And I mean, anywhere really. All right, next question. When is your favorite time of day to create? So this is a tough one. I think my favorite time of day preferably would be daytime, because the sun is out and lighting is good. I can see the colors very clearly. But logistically, the time of day that has been the most available for me is the nighttime. And that's primarily because of work and just logistics, really. But I love painting in daylight. Next question. Describe how art is vital to society. I love this question or statement. So, as mentioned, art has impacted my life in several ways. I've had art, fortunately, have been able to have art in my life since an early age. Third grade was my very earliest memory of having a traditional art class, and I think I do remember as early as kindergarten having an art teacher. So just having the exposure to be able to tap into that other side of your brain allows you to be so much more creative with all your other things that require you to be on the A side of your brain. So the left and right hemisphere need to work coincide together. And I think it's really important to have teens and children and adults really be exposed to both hemispheres creatively to be able to do better things. And I'll get into this in a future question, but being an artist has allowed me to become a better designer. And I don't know how that has happened because being a designer is very A brain and I'm a B brain person. But just having access to both of those things has sort of created a good balance in making me a better artist, making me a better designer. And yes, is very vital to society because it allows people breaks from their, either side. So if your career is mainly artistic and you do something that is more computer-like as a fun thing, you realize that you take a break from that art side, and vice versa. If you have more of a technical job and you just take a break and do art stuff, you tend to, give yourself some breaks between those tasks and those jobs. So, what motivates you to create? I would say a lot of things motivate me. I think the idea of keeping my brother's dream alive motivated me for a very long time to create art. And now that I feel I am doing that naturally, I think what motivates me today in these times are the feeling of peace, the feeling of happiness that art brings me. And whenever I'm having a rough day, I try my hardest to, dive into my sketchbook and just have fun. So, how do you define success as an artist? This is a tough question. I think success looks different for everyone. Some people may see art in galleries and see those artists as successful. Others may see artists on YouTube selling their work in their shops and see that as successful. I personally think if you are managing to create the things you love and have people enjoy them and have them, experience your work, whether you sell them or not, for me, that's success. Of course, getting paid for your work is also a sign of success. But I would say the moment I realized I was a successful artist was the time when I had my first show, my very first curated show. I curated it with a friend of mine, and we had over 200 people, and we successfully maneuvered and gathered all the things. I had a sold out show. It was really powerful for me, and that was almost 10 years ago. So anything really, I think I'm succeeding in getting my YouTube back in action. So really, whenever you set a goal and you've accomplished it, that's success. All right, so next question. Does art help you in other areas of your life? So yes, I was briefly mentioning this. Art has helped me to become a better designer. I see things differently. I think also being a designer has helped my art. Understanding the design process and translating that into my art process is super helpful. So yes, to answer that question, yes. How did you develop your art skills? I honestly practice. There wasn't a real, moment of realization that I've developed an art skill. It was more so, those people that realize that they have nice singing abilities. I think as a child, I was told that I have good skills, and I ran with it, and I kept on practicing and trying different things. So I think maybe it's a natural skill. Maybe it's also a practice skill. So yeah, just practice. How has your style changed over time? Oh God. I've tried every style possible. I initially started when I became I'm a serious artist. When I became a serious artist, I was in high school and I took myself very seriously. I had a portfolio ready. I was prepared to go to art school and all of the above. I was using just graphite pencil, and I was doing realistic things, looking at pictures, looking at references. And I think in high school, Art 2, so we had 2 art classes. Art 2, I discovered paint and I loved it. We only had the budget for tempera paint back in high school, but I knew that I wanted to dive into more. And anyways, so it transformed from graphite to all the way from graphite and realistic, I would say, all the way to abstract, oil, acrylic, and mixed media today. Do you have a network of other artists, and how do you support each other? So I'm starting to build that network back up again. When I was in my early 20s, I had a huge network of artists that I knew. I was heavy in the art scene. I knew a lot of really well-known artists that are extremely well-known today. And I used to just go to every event that they had, whether it was a paid or unpaid. I just wanted to be seen. I wanted to get to know them and know their ways. I didn't know them personally, but I knew of them. They recognized me. They knew of me. So those type of things were important, and I think they're still important to this day, whether you're in an art field or a design field or whatever it is. Definitely make yourself known and accessible, and just, be seen. What are your ultimate career goals? Some career goals of mine. Wow, this is a deep question. Well, of course, I am torn between lots of things. I love doing everything. I love being a designer. I love my nonprofit. I love my daytime job as a teacher. I love, oh God, so many things. I think my ultimate goal is to have my art support my nonprofit and have things sort of coincide together, where I create art and it helps to support my nonprofit and help to support me as an artist, and the full cycle and of the circle of life. Not to be corny, but that's how I imagine it. All right, so the last question. Describe how you encourage your career growth. So I encourage career growth by being consistent. I think when I first started my YouTube channel, I was very inconsistent. 6 years ago, I had all types of topics, all types of categories. So being consistent, having one target idea, and really pushing forward with that idea. I would say, whether it's YouTube or being an art gallery artist, really push on that idea. So for me, it's being a mixed media artist and trying different materials, testing out different finishes, and doing different things that combine different materials, right? So I'm really consistent at testing things out, trying new things, but I have that one niche, right? So encouraging yourself to be consistent, whether it's at least doing it once a day for 5 minutes or once a week for an hour, just having consistency, really. All right, so that is all the time that I have for today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed this really chatty video. If you have any questions, of course, leave them down in the comments and I can try to answer those. And I hope you enjoyed this, chill video. All right, so see you in the next one.